the Middle East Institute presents The Role of Turkey in the Interplay Between Islam and Europe.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Ambassador Chamberlain. It's our sincere pleasure to host Dr. Ekmeleddin İhsanoğlu, the Secretary General of the Organization of the Islamic Conference, here at MEI today. Dr. Ekmeleddin İhsanoğlu is the first by vote elected Secretary General of the OIC, and since he took the office as the 9th Secretary General in January 2005, he has provided strong leadership to the 57 member states organizations, and he espoused the cause of the Muslim world in these difficult times. So please join me in welcoming Dr. Ekmeleddin İhsanoğlu. Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I first like to thank the Chambers for her kind welcome and Dr. Gönül Tol for her nice words. And I'm really pleased to be here in this important institution of learning. I remember my first visit in mid-80s, in my first visit to the United States. I was invited here, and I remember the nice talks I had with the then director, who was a specialist on Ottoman history, and I think since then the institution has transformed to an important center of learning for Middle Eastern studies, which we all need. We need such academic institutions to provide guidance for everybody. Academic institutions are not an ivory towers for scholars. They are a vehicle for better understanding and better decision. And I think if scholars would have been consulted on issues related to other cultures and countries, better decisions will be taken. I hope now by the establishment of this department or this section on Turkish studies, that would be great. I'm grateful for this occasion to Dr. Gönül Tol, and I congratulate her for her dedicated work to make this center one of the most active and successful research units within the Middle East Institute. I'm here at the end of a long visit, which almost 2 weeks' time. Took 2 weeks' time. First week I was in New York, attending General Assembly, organizing our 40th anniversary meetings. We had the ministerial meeting, the annual ministerial meeting of OIC ministers in New York, and then we celebrated the 40th anniversary of the 25th of September. I had also visited many institutions, called to many institutions in New York and here to talk about different aspects, particularly on relationship between the United States and the Muslim world, with special reference to President Obama's speech in Cairo. Among these institutions, I visited Georgetown University, School of Foreign Service, U.S. Institute of Peace, Saban Center of Brookings Institution, and Rumi Forum. Beforehand, I have been to CSIS, Council of Foreign Relations, International Peace Academy, Columbia University, New York University Center for Dialogue, Carnegie Council, Atlantic Council, and Princeton Universities. This is why I feel today very privileged being here, sharing some of my ideas after so many 20 years of my first visit. I've been asked to talk about Turkey and Europe. I would like, of course, I've been also asked to answer questions in the left time. The time remains after my small presentation about issues related to my visit. I would rather look to the matter of relation between Turkey and Europe in a wider perspective, historical perspective. I'm sure those who are following day-to-day politics know what is the relation, where the relationship between Turkey and the European Union stands. Because I think that this dimension of the broader relationship between Turkey and Europe, if it is put in its Islamic context, would be much better understood, and the sensitivities which relates to Europe's stance towards Turkey would be more understandable. We can say that the relationship between the Muslim world, because after all, when we come to a certain point, the real cause advanced or the real cause revealed about the refusal or rejection or resistance to Turkey's membership is a cultural one. And it boils down that you are a Muslim and this is a Christian continent. You have no place here. Of course, the history of modern Turkey and Europe never took this shape until recently, because Turkey's relationship with Europe was built on necessities, necessity of Europe and necessity of Turkey in building up relations, in particular after the Second World War, where in the Cold War system, Europe and the West needed Turkey. Needed Turkey very urgently to join all European Western institutions, starting from NATO to Council of Europe, OECD, and other institutions. And maybe it is Turkey's politicians' mistakes that they delayed the accession process, and they did not seize the opportunities, which the accession was more easy and the conditions were more ripe than it was later. So the two schools of thought now in Europe shows that those who are thinking in a longer perspective and wider outlook, they take that we need Turkey, as Turkey needs us, for strategic reasons, for political reasons, for economic reasons, and all sorts of reasons. And those who are against Turkey, they mainly say that these Turks, they don't belong to Europe, and even if Turkey has a part of its geography in Turkey, which is in my understanding bigger than Malta and Cyprus and many other small countries who are officially members of the Union, they say, well, you Turks, you are Muslims, you have no place, this is a Christian continent. So this is in my small presentation here, I will try to show that how Europe and Islam relates to each other. Is really Islam an intruder to Europe? Is Islam a guest in Europe? Is Europe a host for Muslims, or is it a home for Muslims? Of course, the boundaries or the lines between the Muslim world and Europe has been changing since ever, and we cannot find a sharp line which delineates both sides. It's usually blurred, as it is the case in any relation between two distinct worlds. But if we remember that it was just 12 years after the Prophet's death that Muslims were in Armenia, Georgia, Dagestan, and elsewhere